Hey Ryan, Michael Galloway here with We Don't Need No Stinking Record Company.com, and I'm with David Craver of Open Mic, that's mic.us, and he is spreading the, I think part of his mission is spreading open mics. He's like Johnny Appleseed. He's just spreading open mics all over the country and all over the world, and doing a great job of it because he's got a system and approach, and he's done it, and he's teaching other people how to do it. And so David, we talked about why a newbie might want to do this, why somebody who's a little bit of a rising star is starting to getting better at it might want to do it. And in fact, I've got another reason I'll throw at you. John Lennon used to say that, I think it was John Lennon used to say that one performance in front of people is equal 10 practices in your basement or your bedroom or something like that. So that's another one, is that you get to not just try out music on people, but you put it through its shakedown cruise and get better at it. So that's pretty cool. But now let's think about somebody who might have some product to sell. They've got CDs ready, either demos or finished products. Maybe they're touring around and going around from place to place, or maybe they're just in their own town, but they're starting to kick this into high gear. They're getting some really good paying gigs from time to time. And yet there's still these open mics in the background. Should they continue to do that, and why?
Absolutely. I believe that the open mic circuit is a tool to be used, and it's just another arrow in the quill. Mm-hmm. One of the in the new music paradigm, with no stinking record company necessary, we are, as musicians, are able to cultivate our own audience in a local arena, and then through branching out in concentric circles, broadening, in all directions, just getting wider and wider and wider in terms of your exposure and your fan base. And before you know it, you go from local to regional, and then the next step is regional to national. And one of the great uses of open mics is to help you achieve that. I've met a number of musicians that are currently doing this, coming through the open mics that I run, and I encourage everybody that I see to do the same thing. And number one is go to open mics as often as possible. Have either a demo CD or full-blown CD ready to give away at the open mics. And then while you're doing that, you will, the idea is this: you're at an open mic and you're performing. Everybody in the bar, restaurant, coffee house that sees you, it creates a connection. They have seen you live. If you are good enough to do this, okay, big I, right? If you're good enough to do this, the people will respond to you in a very positive way. They'll say, that was great. Boy, I really like that. Do you have a CD? They'll come to you. Mm-hmm. You step off stage, you pull out a clipboard, and you walk around, and before you leave the microphone, you say, hey, I've got free CDs. If anybody would like one, I'll be walking around and giving them out. You walk around, you hand somebody a CD, and you collect up an email address. And what that does is this: they've seen you, they've created a connection from a live performance. When they leave, they're leaving with a CD in hand, which means they'll probably listen to it on the way home, which means if it gets into their CD player, it probably will stay there for a week or two if they're like me. Three, you've got their email address. So next time and the purpose of that email address is that you can now communicate back to them and say, hey, remember me? I'm the guy at the open mic that gave you the CD. I've got a show at this venue coming up, 30 days from now. Would love to have you there. And now, if you imagine doing that, you can go to an open mic in your town in most places in this country, 5 nights a week. Mm-hmm. And if you're religious about that, and you go out there and you work it and you work it and you work it, before you know it, you're going to have thousands and thousands and thousands of people on your email list that have seen you play live that will want to come back.
And probably have your music. Yeah.
And they have your music in hand. And the reason you say, well, now I'm giving away my CD, I really would like to sell my CD. I said, well, that is an option, but if you're truly trying, if the end game is to create a fan base, once you have the fan base, you can sell them all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
It doesn't do you a whole lot of good financially to sell a few CDs.
I
What you
think,
want to do is build a fan base so that you can sell thousands of CDs the second you release it.
right.
By announcing to the world, hey guys, upcoming new CD, reserve yours now. And all of a sudden you've sold 500 CDs before you've even pressed it.
Yeah, I think I might stage it if it were me. Just thinking about your strategy, I might be putting out a CD that's got just a couple songs on it if it's the
Right.
giveaway, and
Right.
that way it still leaves them product to buy if they want to buy the product. The other thing I do is I always offer the opportunity for people to buy my CDs at whatever price they want to pay. Excuse me,
Right.
and a few people give me $3. Almost everybody gives me $10 or more, and quite a few throw 20 at me. And man, oh man, I'm making profits now. but
Yeah.
but the long term, the long game, is collecting those names. It's not making the sale right away. And there's always that juxtaposition, if I can say that this early in the morning, between what you're trying to do immediately to pay your bills and what you're trying to do in the long run to make it big, or get momentum going. So that's great. And in your idea about going around the country, a lot of us travel in our jobs, and sometimes I travel a lot in my job, and in my day gig, which now has some relation to do with what I'm doing in the music world. So a couple of years ago, I was doing some consulting, and I was in New York City, and I had to be there over maybe a 6 or 8 week period. And I got to play in New York for the first time in a long, long time. I'd done it as in my late teens and early 20s with the band I had, mostly for record company showcases and stuff like that. But now I got to come back and play again, and I thought, oh boy, these people, I'm coming out of Texas, these people are going to tear me to pieces. And exactly the opposite happened. The audiences in New York were actually more supportive at the time than my audiences in Texas. And boy, it was just a blast, and there was some really good talent, and I was able to fit right in, and like any good open mic, they were very welcoming. I just didn't expect it in New York City. I mean, on the main island, not out in the boroughs. This is in the core in the heart of New York City. It was a blast. So there was one in particular. I think they called it the Teabag Lounge. It was actually, that was the name of the open mic, but it moved from venue to venue, and they did a fantastic job. But anyway,
But if I could interject on that,
yeah,
as people travel, it's important to have some good resources where you can find the open mics, and the openmic.us is one website, but it's actually the jump off point for a network of 83 websites that we have that's actually now worldwide. So
let's talk about that in the next post, because I really want to get into that. Okay.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. This is Ryan Michael Galloway. We don't need no stinking recordcompany.com, and I am with David Craver from openmic.us. That's MIC for the mic.us. And we'll be back for the next post. It's going to be good. Stay with us. Thanks. Bye.